Earth in the Galactic Council's military exhibition, Captain Marcus Webb leaned back in his chair, coffee mug balanced precariously on his knee. The embassy's synthetic gravity was calibrated for alveoli physiology, making everything feel about 15% heavier than it should, just another tiny reminder that humans were the new kids on the galactic block. Yep, just the one. He took a deliberately loud sip, enjoying the way the ambassador's sensory tendrils curled in annoyance, the Audacity fitting. "Name?" the alien muttered, all four eyes blinking in sequence. "Do your superiors understand what this exhibition entails? Every major species sends a flotilla. The Dravar are bringing 17 dreadnoughts. The Zenthuri Collective has committed 36 vessels even. The Polarans and their pacifists are sending 12 diplomatic cruisers," Marcus shrugged. "Quality over quantity. Ambassador, your species has been spaceborne for what, less than 2 centuries? The Alavari ascendancy has been traveling between stars for over 4,000 years, the Dravar for nearly 7,000. And yet here we are, invited to the same party." Marcus grinned. "Must be our charm." The ambassador's skin shifted from its normal bluish gray to a mottled purple, its protocol all recognized spacefaring. Species are invited, but sending a single ship. Its krells seem to search for the right word, appendages fluttering. It's insulting to whom? To everyone. The Council, the other species, the very concept of the exhibition. Marcus finally set his mug down on the desk. "Well, I appreciate your concern, Ambassador, but the decision's been made. 1 ship? The Audacity military exhibition starts in 3 standard weeks. We'll be there, you'll be laughed at," Krelix warned. Marcus stood straightening. His uniform wouldn't be the first time. The Audacity hummed beneath Lieutenant Commander Eli Novak's feet as he strode through the central corridor at just over 800 meters long. She wasn't the largest vessel in Earth's modest fleet, but she was indisputably the most advanced. And as chief engineer, he felt every vibration, every subtle shift in her systems, like they were extensions of his own body. "Still can't believe they picked us for this circus," said Lieutenant Daw, falling into step beside him. She was security division built. "Like she bench-pressed cruisers for fun. Can't believe they picked just us," Eli corrected. "No backup, no support fleet, high command's playing some kind of angle," Daw said, lowering her voice as they passed a group of technicians. "Nobody sends 1 ship to an intergalactic dick measuring contest. Maybe they're setting us up to fail. Make a statement by not making a statement, da snorted, or maybe they know something we don't." The turbo lift ahead opened, disgorging Captain Webb and Commander Yasmin. Okafor, the ship's XO, both officers wore expressions that Eli had come to recognize as they're dealing with aliens. "Gave us a headache." Faces Captain, both Eli and Daw said, straightening. Webb waved them off at ease. "We're shipping out in 4 hours final. Preparations underway." "Yes, sir," Eli replied. Reactors purring like a kitten. Propulsion systems green across the board. "We've loaded the special packages as ordered, though engineering still hasn't been briefed on what exactly you'll be briefed when necessary." Commander Webb cut in not unkindly. "For now, just make sure your team is ready for anything. This isn't going to be a standard mission. When is it ever with this crew?" Daw muttered, just loud enough to be heard. Commander Afor's lips twitched. "Lieutenant Daw, I need your security teams running double drills on Zerog combat and boarding protocols before we depart, already scheduled, ma'am, though I'm not sure why we'd need boarding protocols for a military exhibition, because Webb said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes, you never know when you might need to invite yourself onto someone else's ship." Eli and Daw exchanged glances as the captain and XO continued down the corridor. "See?" Daw said. "Definitely an angle." The Galactic Council's Martial Exhibition was held once every 27 Earth years in the neutral Teretian system, a trinary star arrangement with no habitable planets and plenty of empty space to showcase military hardware without making anyone too nervous. As the Audacity dropped out of FTL at the system's edge, the primary view screen filled with pin-pricks of light, hundreds of vessels from dozens of species arranged in neat formation patterns that reflected their creator's psychology. As much as their tactical doctrines, wow, breathed Lieutenant Harper from the sensor station. That's a lot of firepower catalog. Everything Webb ordered, from the command chair vessel types, weapon configurations, drive signatures. I want to know what. We're dealing with the Dravar fleet is requesting our approach vector communications officer, Diaz, reported. They're laughing, sir. Audio, a guttural clicking sound, filled the bridge, unmistakably derisive, even through the translation algorithms. Humans send one ship, one are your warp engines powered by your own flatulence as well. More clicking laughter approach on vector 227. 89.03. Little vessel. Try not to get lost among the grown-ups. Webb's expression remained neutral. Acknowledge their vector Diaz, but plot our own approach. Take us right through the middle of the Zenthari formation. Navigation Officer Choi's eyes widened. Sir, that's not... I know it's not the assigned route, Lieutenant. Do it anyway. Captain. As the Audacity accelerated toward the gathered armadas, Eli entered the bridge datapad in hand. Captain, engineering reports ready for whatever you're planning. That you still haven't told us about, Webb smiled just in time. Commander, take your station. The view screen showed the approaching Zenthari fleet, 36 sleek predatory vessels arranged in a geometric pattern so perfect it seemed computer-generated, which it probably was. The Zenthuri were a hive mind species, each individual ship controlled by distributed intelligence. They're hailing us, Diaz reported, warning us to alter course, open a channel. Webb straightened in his chair. Zenthari Collective. This is Captain Marcus Webb of the Earth vessel Audacity. We're just taking a small shortcut. Hope you don't mind. The response was immediate and cold. Human vessel maintain assigned approach vector. Or we will consider your actions hostile. That seems excessive for a navigation error, doesn't it? Webb replied. We're new to these gatherings, still learning the etiquette. Your ignorance is not our concern. Alter course immediately. Webb nodded to Choi, who adjusted their heading slightly, but not nearly. Enough to avoid passing through the Zenthari formation. Sir Commander Apor said quietly, We're about to have 36 very advanced warships unhappy with us. I'm counting on it. Number 1, Webb leaned forward. Eli, how's our new toy? Eli checked his console. Quantum field stabilized, Captain, but I still don't understand what exactly activated now. Eli hesitated only a second, then pressed the command sequence. A subtle vibration ran through the deck plates, so faint most of the crew probably didn't notice it on the view screen. Nothing seemed to change, but the sensor readings went crazy. What the hell? Harper exclaimed. Sir, according to our sensors, we just multiplied. Webb's grin was positively wolfish. Explain, Lieutenant. I'm reading 500 identical signatures matching the Audacity, all occupying the same space we are. But that's impossible, not impossible. Eli breathed, understanding dawning quantum superposition. At a macroscopic scale, we're in multiple states. Simultaneously, the quantum mirror array. Webb confirmed, developed from technology, we reverse-engineered from that Polden research vessel we salvaged 3 years ago to outside observers, it looks like. We're in 500 places at once, each image as solid and real as the original. The Zenthari hail came through. Again, their synthesized voice now tinged with alarm, human vessel. What is the meaning of this deception? Our sensors detect multiple signatures. No deceptions in Theory Collective, just bringing a few friends to the party. Webb's voice was smooth as glass. We'll proceed through your formation now, if you don't mind. They are expressions of humanity's fundamental approach to existence, finding creative solutions to seemingly impossible problems. He smiled, the expression genuine rather than strategic. For the first time since the exhibition began, Earth does not seek dominance. We seek partnership, but partnership based on mutual respect, not on the assumption of our inferiority. We extend our hand in friendship to all species who share our commitment to protected autonomy, where the strong defend the right of all civilizations to develop according to their own nature. Webb's voice softened, though it lost none of its intensity for too long. Humanity has hidden its true capabilities, observing from the shadows like a cautious child. That era ends today. Earth takes its place among the elder species, not through conquest or intimidation, but by offering a new perspective, a human perspective on our shared future among the stars. As he concluded, a profound silence fell over the exhibition. It was broken, surprisingly, by the Dravar battle commander Vex, whose deep rumbling voice carried unexpected solemnity. The Dravar hegemony acknowledges the strength demonstrated by Earth. We recognize the human vessel, Audacity, and its crew as worthy adversaries, and potentially worthy allies. One by one, other species offered similar acknowledgments, each according to their own customs and traditions. The Synthari Collective proposed a formal knowledge exchange. The Alivari Ascendancy offered trade concessions. Even the typically isolationist VDMs extended diplomatic recognition. As Webb returned to the Audacity's bridge, he found his senior staff waiting with expressions ranging from pride to amazement. "I think that went well," he said mildly, taking his seat in the command chair. Eli laughed. "That's an understatement, sir. You've basically rewritten humanity's position in the galaxy in 5 days." "Not me," Webb corrected. "Us, this ship, this crew." He looked around at the faces of his officers. The Audacity lived up to its name. "So what happens now?" Dawes asked. "We've shown our hand, revealed our secret technologies, announced a major alliance with the Polarans. There's no going back to being the underestimated. Newcomers now," Webb said, leaning back in his chair. "We do what humans have always done when facing the unknown, which is prompted." Okafor Webb's smile was confident, but tinged with the humility that came from staring into the cosmic abyss and recognizing both its dangers and its wonders. "We adapt, we learn, we grow." He nodded to Choi at the navigation console. "Set course for Earth, Lieutenant. It's time to report back to Fleet Command." As the Audacity broke formation and prepared to depart, Webb gazed at the assembled alien fleets on the view screen, no longer adversaries to be feared or manipulated, but peers to be engaged, and perhaps someday true allies. "You know," he mused more to himself than to his crew, "when Ambassador Krelix warned me we'd be laughed at for sending one ship, I almost believed him." Eli smirked. "I bet he's not laughing now." "No," Webb agreed, "but I think for the first time he and the others are truly listening." The Audacity's engines hummed to life, a single human vessel moving away from hundreds of alien ships, small in number perhaps, but no longer small in significance. Earth had arrived on the galactic stage, not with overwhelming force, but with something far more powerful: the audacity to challenge expectations and redefine possibilities, just as humanity had always done. Sometimes the universe presents you with impossible odds. That's when humans are at their best. While other species evolved for specific ecological niches, we adapted to change itself. That's what the aliens never understood until we showed them. We don't overcome challenges because we're stronger or smarter or more numerous. We overcome them because we refuse to accept impossibility as anything more than a temporary inconvenience. The galaxy laughed when humans sent one ship. Nobody's laughing now. 3 months after the exhibition, Eli Novak stood in Earth's orbital command center, watching the diplomatic vessels arrive for the first ever protected autonomy summit ships from 27 species, formed a spectacular array around the planet. Their designs as varied as the civilizations that created them. "Quite a view, isn't it?" came a familiar voice. Eli turned to find Captain Webb. Now, Admiral Webb approaching with 2 drinks in hand, he offered one to Eli, who accepted it gratefully. "Hard to believe this all started with one ship," Eli remarked, gesturing to the gathering armada. "One ship and a lot of audacity," Webb corrected, clinking his glass against Eli's. "The best human traditions." The Dravar delegation arrived this morning. Eli noted Battle Commander Vexstrick personally. "Requested to meet the engineering team behind the causality torpedoes." Webb chuckled. "Of course he did, planning to share your secrets. Some of them." Eli admitted the non-classified ones enough to show good faith. Speaking of good faith, the Zathari have proposed a joint research initiative on dimensional physics. They're particularly interested in the theoretical underpinnings of the fold drive and were interested in their hive mind computing architecture. Eli guessed Webb nodded mutual benefit. Through mutual respect, the foundation of any lasting alliance, they sipped their drinks in companionable silence, watching as a Polarin diplomatic cruiser executed a perfect approach to the docking bay. Supreme Arbiter Lona would be leading her. Delegation personally the first time in recorded history that the Polarin head of state had visited another species' homeworld. You know, Eli said thoughtfully throughout this entire operation, there's one thing I still don't understand. Just one. Webb raised an eyebrow. Why call it Operation Glass House if we were keeping our capabilities secret? Wouldn't a glass house be the opposite of what we wanted? Webb smiled enigmatically. The name wasn't about our house, Commander, it was about theirs. Understanding dawned on Eli's face. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones exactly for decades. The elder species have looked down on humanity, secure in their technological superiority. They lived in glass houses of arrogance, and we just threw one hell of a stone. Eli finished that we did. Webb's gaze returned to the gathered ship's representatives of civilizations that span the galaxy, but now comes the harder part, building something better together. Webb confirmed using all our contradictions and adaptability and stubborn refusal to accept limitations. A junior officer approached, looking slightly intimidated to be interrupting their conversation. Admiral Webb, the Security Council is ready for your briefing. Webb nodded, handing his empty glass to Eli. Duty calls you'll be at the reception tonight. Wouldn't miss it. Eli assured him someone has to explain to the Dravar why they shouldn't mix their biochemistry with our open bar, with a laugh. Webb departed, leaving Eli alone with the view. The Audacity was visible among the gathered vessels, looking deceptively ordinary from the outside. Just one ship among many, but appearances, as the galaxy had learned, could be deceiving. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not with overwhelming numbers or brute force, but with ingenuity, adaptability, and yes, audacity. The elder species were still adjusting to this new reality, still recalculating their understanding of the cosmos to include humans not as newcomers to be tolerated, but as partners to be respected. It wasn't perfect. There would be challenges ahead, diplomatic tensions to navigate, cultural misunderstandings to overcome. But for the first time, humanity was engaging with the galaxy on equal terms, all because one ship had dared to defy expectations, all because humans had done what humans always do, best turn the impossible into the inevitable. Eli raised his glass in a silent toast to the Audacity and her crew, to Audacity itself, and to whatever impossible challenges tomorrow might bring the end.